Does my hair look all right? Does my hair look all right? Should I start? I think I'll start. Good morning, commuters. What should we talk about today? You know what we're going to talk about today? Healthcare. That's what we're going to talk about today. And the fact that the Republicans have voted to debate what they're going to do about healthcare. So basically what they've done is screwed you. Screwed all of us. They've screwed hospitals. They've screwed insurance companies. They've screwed Medicaid recipients. They've screwed Medicare recipients. All of their plans are sucky. One gets more sucky than the next. This whole idea of repeal and replace, then they're talking about we're just going to repeal it. Have you lost your minds? Well, yes, they have. But here's the thing, and I've been saying it all along, and there was an article, I posted it last night. There was an article in CNBC that proved me right. It's all about their health care, not yours, not mine, their health care. Because before the ACA, they got to live on government health care. And that's really good health care. And they didn't have to pay a lot for it. Now they have to go out, they and their staffs have to go out to the exchanges and they have to live with health care like we have. So rather than improve it, they're like, we're going back to our regular health care. This has been brought to you by our regular health care. We are going to get rid of this. We don't want to pay 28% of the gold standard. We want cheap health care. We want the best health care we can get. Did you know that they're allowed to go to military bases while they're in Washington, D.C. and get health care? So basically, Congress treats themselves like they're as good as the military, which I think we all know they're not. So that's what this is all about. And 50 senators voted against, 50 senators voted for, and Pence, that bastion of ignorance, voted, of course, for because his boss, that even bigger bastion of ignorance, Trump, just keeps hounding about healthcare, because that's what he got elected on. Ignorant people who didn't know what was going on, and now they're going to harm hospitals. There are swaths of this nation that even if they had health insurance, had nobody to do health insurance because they have no doctors, they have no nurses, they have no nurse practitioners, they have nothing, they have no health care. People like us who live especially in southeastern Wisconsin, we have great health care. We are repeatedly ranked, and I'm not just talking about the place I work, I'm talking about in general, the state of Wisconsin is rated higher than almost every other state. I'm sure there's a couple that are better, and I haven't read the new ones. But that's the thing, people. It's not that they care about your health or these high costs. They've been killing the program since it began. I'm not saying the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, is perfect. It's not. Nothing's perfect. I'm perfect. I can walk on water in winter when it's ice. But nothing's perfect. It needs some improvements. It needs some things to help it along, and it needs a little more money. I'm sorry, if you want health care, this is what we got to do. Now, I know that there are some on the far left who are calling for single payer, and I'm just not convinced. I know Bernie Sanders has been calling for it, and it's one of the I did vote for Bernie Sanders in the primary, but I didn't actually agree with that. Oh, by the way, that bastion of stupidity, Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, yet again screwed us because he voted to do this debate. They're not going to get anything done, and they're going to take a huge long recess, and they're just going to churn. That's the thing. You know what? I'm going to start leaving some of my worry behind because they're just going to churn. Congress, and John McCain. God, I love John McCain. God bless John McCain. I hope he comes through his cancer, but Ted Kennedy didn't, and from what I understand, they've got the same. He's got what Ted Kennedy had. So God bless him, but he's talking about reaching across the aisle. The ACA actually did. Did you know there was 188 amendments in the ACA that were brought up by the Republicans? They didn't vote for it because they didn't have to vote for it. They got to make a stand and go, I didn't vote for this, for something that at the time was unpopular, which now is extremely popular because we're talking 7 years later. And they got to say, I didn't vote for it because they knew it was going to pass. They didn't have to vote for it. But that Congress is not this Congress. But they had 188 amendments in there. Maybe that's why it didn't work as well as it should have. I don't know what those amendments were. I just know they had 188. That it did reach across the aisle. They just got to say no Republican voted for it. But it did reach across the aisle. If they were serious about health care, they would not have done what they did yesterday. They're not serious about health care. And I'm sorry, I disagree with John McCain. I have the utmost respect for him, and I think he's an American hero. But yesterday, he did not prove America. He didn't. His speech was nice. It gave lip service to what they should be doing. But that vote yesterday that he did and the other 50 plus Pence did are that there was no courage there. So that's my thought for the day. Keep pounding your senators, keep pounding your congressmen. There's really nothing that I just don't see an end to this, because I think now, because they did it the way they did it, they need 60 votes and they're not going to get it. No Democrat's going to vote for it. None. It would be the end of their political career. And as much as I think they should stand up and take a stand on things, ending health care and the Republican plans, right now we have roughly 16 million people without health care in this nation. Without health insurance, I should say, without health insurance. There's always emergency care. When we, anyway, getting off topic. That's my thought. I think that you should stand up and have some courage, but I don't think you're showing courage when you vote to take away health care from millions of Americans. That's not courage. That's ignorance, and that's lack of empathy, and that's greed, and it's wrong. Wrong. Have a good day, commuters.